morning, San Jose, California. Good morning, Phoenix, Arizona. Good morning, Guam. Good morning, Oman. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning, Netherlands. Good morning, Texas. Good morning, Florida. Good morning, Georgia. Good morning, Virginia. Good morning to my hometown, Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning to my second hometown, Richmond, Virginia. I am Sherman, joining you live from Los Angeles, California, in the Baldwin Hills area. Listen, as an ecclesiastical prognosticator of the gospel, as one who has been licensed to preach since I was 11 years old, ordained since I was 17, preachers get on my nerves. You heard it. Preachers get on my nerves. Some of the most phony, some of the most shyster, wicked folk I know on the planet have the title Reverend in front of our names. Reverend this, minister that, bishop this, elder that. Now, you're not going to get me to call any names because I love preachers. I know it sounds kind of schizophrenic, but I love preachers because I'm a preacher. And I love what we do, and I love what we've been called to do. And I understand clearly when I meet some of the persons that I've seen on TV for years, or heard on the radio for years, or seen in the newspapers, and see how plastic their personalities are, and how arrogant, and how we have these delusions of grandeur. It lets me know that that's got to be a God, because ain't nowhere in the hell a crook like that could preach like that if it wasn't a God. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just think about it. What I'm trying to say is, all I'm trying to say is that it's like you come from a fat family. Everybody in your family was fat. Mama fat, daddy fat, sister fat, brother fat. 12 of y'all, and you the only one that's not fat. It's got to be, you got to be working out, because it ain't just your genes. It's got to be something that you're doing. So what I'm trying to say is, for God to, for some of us to be as gifted as we are, there has to be a God. I went to a conference the other day, not going to say where, what time, or any of that, but I went to a conference, and at this conference there were several preachers, and you should have just seen the phoniness, the handshake. I shook somebody's hand, and they, oh no, give me a hug, and I shook another one hand, oh no, give me a hug. I probably hugged about maybe 8 or 9 different preachers that day, and only one of them was genuine. Only one of them had an authentic. You could feel that this brother loved preachers and loved humans and would do it. His name was Papa, they call him. I'm not going to say his last name, but I think he pastors Friendship Baptist Church. Great man of God. So my point is, I'm not telling you that all these other preachers are going to hell. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm telling you that they're absolutely no good. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, when I see this, it makes me long to be humble. It makes me long to be humble. And I'm, this is my podcast, so I'm able to be candid with you all. And even, as I ramble from time to time, I'm able to digress and even express to you my struggle. My struggle has always been the desire to be humble while not appearing as a wimp. And sometimes it's hard to find that balance, because if you're self-confident and you've got the confidence that you need to succeed, if a person is looking at that, often they'll look at it and say, oh, he's arrogant or he's narcissistic. If you are meek and humble as a lamb and practicing the humility that I long for, and someone tunes in to see it, then they say, oh man, that man is ain't nothing but old Uncle so-and-so, and he's weak as water. I can't stand a man that ain't got no backbone. So how do you find the balance? And so that's what I have to pray for on a daily basis, because I want the balance. Someone told me the other day they went to YouTube and watched one of my videos, and she said, I don't even like the way you say your name, Sherman D. Manning. You say it like you love your name. And on the one hand, I said, wait a minute now. It is my name, okay? And when I'm doing a podcast or a video, then I need to say who I am, because I'm sort of introducing myself to the American people and to the world for that matter. And then I begin to doubt myself. Should I just say Sherman? Should I just say Sherman D. Manning? My name is Man. Should I mumble? Or do I need to say it proudly because I'm proud of the Manning name passed on to me by James Scott Manning, sent down through the lineage of Roy Manning, etc. And I'm proud that my mama named me Sherman, and that is my calling card. Now, Sherman is not who I am. It's not even what I do. It's just a calling card. Oh, don't let me get into this discussion about who are you. But anyway, it just fascinated me. I did a video and somebody called me and said, "You look real braggadocious. You look big old rings on." And I said, "Wait a minute now. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me again. I'm sorry. I wear one ring and one watch. Mind you, some people might consider them to be a nice ring and a nice watch, but that's it. No pinky rings, no necklace, no chains hanging. No, I used to wear jewelry. I don't do that. One ring, one watch. And I said, well, maybe I should just take it off when I, and to be full disclosure, I started doing videos with I took the ring off, but it dawned on me, why am I second guessing myself? Now, if I feel like taking a ring off because I don't want it to look flashy, just one ring, then I will continue to do that from time to time. But at the same time, calling my own name and saying it, with some excitement and I shouldn't let people mess with me like that. But at the same time, I want my listeners to know that I understand clearly how you feel when you see an arrogant preacher, some joker. You're saying this, man, all that preaching you do and all that gospel you got down in you and all that source, all that material, all that substance I hear coming out of you, and you don't even have enough wisdom to understand how it looks when you walk around here like you bad. But find the balance, preachers. I pray that's my prayer for my fellow preachers. Let's find balance. Let us ask God to help us be able to walk around with our chest out and our heads held high as proud children of God, but at the same time not come across as flashy and phony and narcissistic and any of that. I mean, America has had enough narcissism through Donald for the next 20 years. Well, 20 decades, I said it right. We don't need that anymore. We got enough of that in him. And I will tell you, it's funny how one man's trash is another man's treasure. I've had a few people say, one thing I like about Donald, his confidence. No, I don't like him at all. I don't see confidence when I see him. I see a lack of confidence. If you have to continually tell me how great you are, you don't think you're that great. It's like you're trying to convince yourself. How many times have you heard me on this podcast say I'm a black man? Maybe once in some kind of argument that I had going, or one of my monologues that, sort of required or begged for that explanation. But the fact of the matter is, on a daily basis, you will never hear me say, I'm a black man. I'm a black man. What if every time I open this podcast up, I say, I'm Sherman D. Manning, and I'm a black man. By the way, I'm African American. You know that, right? Over and over again. Wouldn't it make you think that that guy must be crazy? He must be a nut, because it's obvious to me that he's black. He looks black, and perhaps he sounds black. So if you are great, then why do you need to continually tell me that you're great, especially if you believe that you are great? Something is wrong with Donald. But anyway, back to preachers. And so Lord, it's funny how time flies, baby. I remember when I was the youngest preacher in the room. I do. I remember I was the youngest preacher. I'm a baby preacher. And now I'm getting, at 43, I'm beginning to want to win. It might be a couple of times when I'm the oldest preacher in the room. But nevertheless, I got some experience under my belt, and I have some training under my belt and some maturity under my belt. And the best of it all is the experiential data that I have now. and wisdom that I have. And so I tell preachers, first of all, I will never discuss a preacher with a label, not by name. I don't do that. I was trained not to do that. But I do want to tell my fellow ecclesiastical prognosticators of the gospel, my members of the presbytery, please stop the arrogance, brother. Pray about it. I know you're the president of the so-and-so, so-and-so. I know you're the vice president and chairman of the so-and-so. I know you're the senior pastor of so-and-so, 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 Baptist Church, missionary. I get that. I know you got a couple of degrees behind your name and a couple of letters in front of your name. I know that you are a bad boy. But at the same time, Bishop so-and-so, at the end of the day, you ain't nothing but another man. And if you want to figure out why some churches struggle with having men join, it's because of that arrogance. A man does not want another man telling him what to do all the time. And so I thank God for the opportunity to sit back and hear preachers preach. See, my whole career as a preacher, I preached all the time. I rarely really got to sit back and watch others, the mannerisms, the gesticulations of other preachers and see how they came across. And this is a learning experience for me, even humbling, where I'm saying to myself, sometimes when you say, repeat after me, so-and-so, so-and-so, and I do that in sermons all the time. Let me hear you say so-and-so, so-and-so. And sometimes I say, man, I'm tired of saying so-and-so, so you the preacher. You preaching today, not me. And the flip side of it is sometimes I say to myself, man, I'm a man. You don't tell me to repeat this after I repeat if I want to repeat. I don't feel like saying that right now. You're talking to another man. Who you think? All that comes across now. I get it. And so preachers need to welcome men and give men the opportunity to be men and let them know, hey, man, I know you're a man. I know that as pastor, I can't command you to do this and command. I thank you for coming. If you welcome men more, you'll get more men in your church. Just a little idle chatter, rambling a little bit. If you got a pastor, maybe you should call him and tell him to get this podcast. Tell him I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but it's this preacher named Sherman. You ain't gonna call him. Oh man, what was my name? Sherman D. Manning. That's his name. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I can't remember what that woman said to me the other day. Okay, tell your pastor. And Sherman has a podcast, and obviously, he's a preacher. He preached all across this country, grew up at First Corinth Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. Eventually joined Salem Baptist Church, which is now Salem Bible Church, where the great Jasper Williams Jr. is pastor. Even to this day, Jasper's been there over 50 years now. Sherman preached in some of the largest black churches in this country. And Sherman also, by the way, went to jail. And he didn't just go there on no misdemeanor. He didn't just go there on no drug charge. He went there for something very similar to what Joseph went for, Pastor. Sherman was wrongly convicted of rape, period. And he has a podcast, and he talks about preachers, and you might want to listen to it. It might be kind of interesting to you. It might catch your attention. If anybody knows Bishop Noel Jones, tell him to pray for me. I need to talk to Bishop Jones. I feel something in his spirit when he preaches. He preaches right to me, right at the place I find myself. Bishop Noel Jones. Tell him Sherman wants to talk to him. Tell him call me at 404-386-9356. Tell him to email me at shermandmanning@gmail.com. My brothers and my sisters, can I repeat one thing at the sake of at the risk of being redundant? This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Nothing just happens. You're not a mistake. God called you before the foundations of the earth. He knew you before you was even in your mother's womb. Before your mama ever met your daddy, God already knew you. Before your great-great-grandmama ever met your great-great-grandfather, God already had his hands on you. On your way down the fallopian tube, you didn't just arrive here by accident. You were specifically ordered to be here by God. He called you Larry. He called you Renita. He called you Tommy. He called you Lisa. He called you Leroy. He called you Sherman. He called you Jasper. He called you Fred. He called you Terry. He called you who you are before you became who you is. And I know that's bad English, but baby, let me I'm trying to tell you, you're not an accident. We need what you have. The world needs exactly what you have. No matter what your situation is, what your experiences are, there's something about your experience that has prepared you to help me deal with my experience.